went viral. I built a cult-like following. These videos that would be getting millions of views, man, millions of views. But I was not capitalizing. I was not capitalizing on this audience.
Number one, create a common enemy. Number two, say things that other people won't say. You become basically the spokesperson for someone, then they will buy into whatever you're saying. A lot of people will have that cult-like following, have no monetization plan, and then they've just got followers for no reason. They've got the attention, but they're not getting no income from it.
The market is always right. You cannot go against the market. The market's ruthless. That is one of the key skills into turning attention into income. Being able to identify when your market is shifting, when the interests around you are shifting and people are viewing you in a different way.
Get your hands dirty with the attention and figure out what they want, figure out how they communicate, figure out how you can sell through psychology. Don't just keep speaking at your audience, speak with your audience. You'll miss opportunities if you don't. Yo, so it's Christmas. Oh, we're not even releasing this. Can we say it's Christmas? So we're 3 weeks into January now. We're recording this just after Christmas, man. So how's your Christmas been?
Yeah. Very good, bro. Very good. Very good. I personally, my family we don't celebrate Christmas, but with my girlfriend's family, with my wife's family, I should reiterate, I got married as well.
Oh, don't be messing that up.
Yeah.
Nice one, man. I just chilled on my ones. We did we raised some money for charity, Cancer Research UK. Did my bit.
I saw that.
And yeah. So that was pretty much my Christmas, and then I just went home and chilled. My parents came around late because I just couldn't be bothered with just the hassle of it. Just like so many people, there was going round to my my dad's side of the family, and I just know it's loud and it's a bit like. And right at this moment in my life, it's just not something that I can deal with, if that makes sense. I just don't have the capacity for it. So I was like, I just need to be by myself. And then they just came over later, dropped off some of the food and my presents and stuff. But yeah, you just got to say no sometimes when you know, because I was like, I'm going to go into that situation and I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be having fun. So I'm allowed to say no because I know I'm going to feel like I'm forcing myself to be there. I think a lot of people just need to be okay with saying no to things that they don't want to do.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I know it is tough around Christmas, isn't it? But yeah. And now I've just got back from Muay Thai camp. So I'm starting Muay Thai training. Potentially have a fight this year. We'll see. I need another focus that's just like, not bodybuilding, coming back from bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But I need something hardcore, so we'll see. And people have been saying shit since I put that post on Instagram that went like mad viral. The amount of comments I've got on that, like hating on me, is absolutely insane. People like, because I did a hook. This is what we're going to talk about today, though, innit? Like attention doesn't make money. So if we're kind of talking about like attention, I created a hook. That was just a wild hook. So I don't know if you've seen it, but obviously I got my nails painted. Oh, they're kind of chipping at the moment, yeah. Got my nails painted. So I was like, well, I'm going to use a hook, yeah, that's just going to get so many people. So I was like, I'll paint my nails. I'll bang you in your face and take your girl or something like that. while having my nails painted or some stuff like that. Killer of a hook, yeah, and it hooked so many people fuming with it. It's done good reach, got me a good amount of followers. But yeah, you just don't count me out. Everyone's commenting on that like, oh, you're not going to bang nothing. Someone tells me that I can't do something. Go on then, I'm going to register for a fight this year. And as soon as if I get a knockout in this fight, yeah, my balls are going to be so big. Like, what do you mean? And I got pink shorts too. So I'll box you in your mouth with painted nails and pink shorts and then say something. It's just riling people up, man. Like, that's kind of what you got to do to get attention. I made a post on it today about building a good cult-like following. Because I think cult-like followings are so important.
Yeah, they are. They're really important because then that just, they follow whatever you say. They follow whatever you say as long as you stay a good example. They're gonna listen and they're gonna just purchase whatever offers you have to offer, right?
Yeah. One sec, before we go further into this topic, we've also chosen a name for the podcast as well. The Brand Creator Corner.
Yep.
Is that what we're at? Logo looks pretty cool, so I guess that's what we'll be introing from now on. Welcome to the Brand Creator Corner. But ideally, we don't just want to be talking about online coaching and stuff like that. A lot of what we obviously focus on is, but we want to be looking at like brands as a whole. The stuff that we say can translate to anything. When we're talking about brands, whatever business you're kind of putting online, I think this information can be valuable because we're all selling through like the same platforms, aren't we?
Yeah.
So yeah, the Brand Creator Corner is the name. Let's get back to cult like followings though. What would you say the main things are? Because I did a post today. I had two main things to build a cult like following. What would your two main things be?
Market differentiator. Market differentiator. I think that is the main thing. The main thing, because if I look at bigger creators, if I look at bigger brands, like for example, if we take someone like Alex Eubanks, who has a cult like following, he's the Greek god. You know what I mean? So a market differentiator in whatever niche you're going for. It may be like there's a donut shop popping off in Montreal right now. It's called Homer's, and what's their classic donut? It's the Homer Simpson donut.
Yeah,
And like their thing is they make freakishly like cartoonishly huge donuts. So that's their market differentiator, and now they have a cult like following on social media. So I think maybe instead of two things, it's just that one thing. It's a market differentiator. If you can get that, for example, in our space, if you're just a bodybuilder, you're just an athlete, you could get a following, and your market differentiator could be your physique. But then that's like 1 in a million, bro. 1 in a million. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So you have to develop a personality. Like for example, for Dudley, something I've noticed out of you is you're kind of like a jack of all trades. You know what I mean? You can do a lot of things, man. You can do a lot of things, and not only are you a great athlete, you're a professional, but you're also you have the identity. You have the identity method. You help coaches with developing their market differentiator through yours, which is your content creation skills and your marketing skills, right? So I feel like that's like the number one thing.
What would you say your personal marketing differentiator is then?
My personal market differentiator. That's a very good question, brother. That's a very good question. What I feel like my market differentiator right now, but I'm not tapping into it as much, because if I'm being honest, I haven't had one for the past couple months. I haven't had one for the past couple months.
I think sometimes we kind of I notice this, we step back on our own shit because we're focusing on other people's shit.
Yeah, yeah, 100%,
But if you
100%.
was to go right, and I'm nailing back down on mine now, what would you say that is?
I want to be perceived as the legacy builder. I'm not just doing this for money in my bank account. I want to be perceived as the guy who's doing it for legacy, and how I'm gonna relate that to people is through the son I'm having, through the wife I'm having at a very young age, and through the fact that I'm building this with my brother, and that for me. That's legacy. Kind of like the Tate brothers, what they're building. Their market differentiator is once they started marketing themselves together, shit just skyrocketed.
Yeah, yeah. So my 2 points were, number one was have a common enemy, create a common enemy, because I feel like if you have a enemy, people, if we're talking about, I guess yours is more positive psychology, mine is more around the negative psychology, and you probably see that with the way that I put into like the Dixon Physique page. Like, it is a lot of negative psychology and emotion, which is not a bad thing. But it's because it does draw a lot of people in.
Yeah.
So having a common enemy is kind of important if you were wanting to build a cult like following, because people kind of come together on the things that they dislike. So if I'm talking about science-based lifters, if I'm talking about certain things about like how women act in certain ways that make us men feel shitty, or just the confusing things that goes on in dating, all that kind of stuff. If I'm putting an enemy out there and other men feel like they have that same enemy, then they'll be drawn to me to speak on that. And then number two was say things that other people won't say, because then you become that focal point. You become basically the spokesperson for someone. And if you can become the spokesperson for someone, then they will buy into whatever you're saying, because they'll like your post, they'll engage with your post because you're saying the stuff that they don't want to say, they're too scared to say, they don't have the platform to say. If you're that person, they will keep liking your stuff because they're agreeing with what you're saying. So I think those two are the main things in terms of negative psychology approach, dark psychology, should we call it, instead of negative, dark psychology. Yeah, those are the two things that I think draw a lot of people in. And I think even like you said with the Tate brothers and stuff, they've done that because they do a lot of dark psychology stuff where you're getting nailed in on basically the stuff that you want to say but don't say because you're scared to say.
100%. 100%. I think our common enemy is poverty, man. Poverty and laziness. Poverty, laziness, and complacency. That's the because I was reading I was rereading actually the latest book from Patrick Bet David. I don't know if you know Patrick Bet David. Well, he's a
No, no, no.
podcaster from the States. He's built a multi-million dollar what was it? It was in the industry sales. Yeah, it's sales in the insurance. In the insurance company, he built a multi-million dollar sales rep company, pretty much. And this guy, his book, his latest book, you'd like it. It's called Choose Your Enemies Wisely. So it really taps into that psychology that all of us need an enemy within us, you know, in order to operate at our maximum. Because a good enemy, the right enemy, creates emotion within you to take action. So if I hate
100%.
poverty with the bottom of my heart, you best believe I'm going to take every action necessary to not be in poverty or not to have anyone that I love in that situation. If I hate laziness, then it's either I hate myself or I take action, you know? And those emotions that it creates within me, they're deep. So if we apply that psychology to content creation where building a cult like following, if you can make people understand that you have an enemy and your audience shares that enemy with you, I do see it being very, very powerful. And I do see that content strategy that you're using with Dixon Physique. Like props to you, man, props to you. And you are right. Like having a common enemy is key.
Yeah, so how, because obviously, so once you've built a common enemy and you've built this cult-like following,
Hmm.
then how do you monetize that? Because that's where a lot of people go wrong.
Yeah.
So if I'm talking now, like on my Dixon Physique page, I'm not currently monetizing what I'm doing. Do I believe that I've got a cult-like following? Yes. Am I
Hmm.
currently monetizing that? No, because I've pulled back from coaching, so that's not something that I offer. But I am looking to replace that transformation coaching with something else, something like a men's mastery group, something like a men's business focus group, something
Hmm.
like that that's away from actual physique coaching, but more about just
Hmm.
like kind of men buying into a community to become the best version of themselves within business, within relationships, within everything like that. So that's my monetization plan for that. But a lot of people will have that cult like following, have no monetization plan, and then they've just got followers for no reason. So they've got the
100%.
attention, but they're not getting no income from it. So, what would your first step be to build that ecosystem around that attention?
Around that attention. I'm gonna give everyone here. I don't think I told you either, but I'm gonna give everyone here right now listening some context into kind of my experience with social media. I went viral very very fast. I went viral. I built a called like following with my market differentiator. At the time, it was just like cinematic edits. Like I would be one of the first guys to pull up to the gym with my camera, with the tripod camera, not iPhone tripod, fucking camera, bro. Like full setup at the gym. I would pull up. I'd always film myself, multiple angles, different sets. I would be that annoying kid. I wasn't even that big at the time either, so I would just film myself, create some fire edits, and I would always put some stoic quotes because I remember I would be reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius every morning, and I would just use the quotes. I would just use the quotes, and these videos that would be getting millions of views, man, millions of views. And I was young, I was naive, I had a dream, I had a vision, but I had the classic dream of like, okay, I want to be the young, I want to be sponsored by Young LA. Give me that Young LA Gorilla Mind sponsorship. That's what I was chasing at the time. And I was getting offers from other sponsors, but I was refusing them because they weren't Young LA or Gorilla Mind. But I was not capitalizing. I was not capitalizing on this audience. And my number one mistake was, besides the lack of understanding of the opportunity that I had in front of me, the lack of skill set that I had. the lack of skill set. So the first step that I find that I deem important above all the other steps is making sure you're equipped with the right skills, because now you have the skill to go viral, and that's a massive skill. That's a valuable skill in the market that we currently live in. But you need to be able to combine that with other skills, like, for example, sales, funnels, building an offer, and understanding also what this audience wants. Once you know you have certain skills, you need to understand what your audience wants. What can they benefit from what do they benefit the most from following you? Or how do they benefit the most from following you, right?
Yep.
And as a consequence of that, what can you then sell them that is congruent with the benefit that they receive from following you? So I think that'd be the first step, figuring that out once you have the skills needed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just touching back on like the Dixon Physique page, I've noticed my audience shift. I mean, not necessarily the people, but maybe the mindset and the viewpoint of the audience shift from seeing me as obviously bodybuilder, fitness coach, all that kind of stuff, to because I'm putting a lot out there about kind of success with my businesses and stuff like that. I'm kind of becoming more of that business guy now. That's what I'm getting a lot of messages from. Whereas before it would have been fitness and stuff like that. So it's pointless me coming back into the market now saying I'm opening fitness coaching spaces, because do my audience really want that anymore from me? Or am I start kind of seeing a change to my audience or wanting something different from me? And that's where my kind of new monetization idea needs to come into play. They're wanting something new from me, so I need to figure out 100% what that is, which I'm trying to figure out right now, and then I can nail down the offer. Because ultimately now I'm looking at what kind of posts are people engaging with, what kind of questions am I getting in the DMs, like just all of that stuff. And then from that, I need to figure out what the offer will be. So you've got to be able to pay attention to the attention and see where the attention's going. And then when you understand where the attention's going, then you can build your offer around that direction. Yeah, but I've done the same as you as well, where like I've gone viral before and I've just missed the opportunity so bad. So I still did make a little bit of money. Like I made a little bit of money from it. So back in 2020, I was like TikTok famous, if you want to call it that. We had like 600,000 followers on the account. We were getting sponsorship opportunities left, right, and center from brands, which paid decent money, but that was from brands. And yeah, you'll get it from brands, but you've got to create something yourself, because you don't want to be controlled by brands. So if we're getting sponsorship for this, like getting paid, I think one of the first one was, it's like text a code to a number, and then you get your dating future all. Do you know them things? You have them over in Canada. You text like 333 to this number and it tells you your dating future or some rubbish like that, some absolute bullshit. But anyway, I think they paid us like £500 for a post, and I was like, damn. So this was a couple's account though, so she's got the account now. We've been broke up like 3 years, but she's still got access to the account, locked me out of all the accounts, which is not great. It's still sitting there if anyone wants to go watch it. If anyone wants to go watch the content, see if you can find it. I'm not going to tell you the name, but anyway, it was a couples account, and we just did couples things. And looking back at it now, like there was so much opportunity to monetize that further in our own way that we just kind of missed out on. So we had the attention there, but we didn't do anything with it apart from just take what was given to us. But it's all our learning process if we wasn't smart enough at that time. Because if you gave me that opportunity now where I'm getting 600,000 followers on TikTok and everything's just going viral, I'm finding a way to make money from that. I'm creating some sort of flow that makes money.
Oh yeah, right. It'll be done in fucking 3 hours, bro, with AI.
Yeah. But that was crazy because it was just one post. I think we put up one post, and that first post we put up went viral. It went mad viral. Like I remember we just posted this, it was like something to do with my pecs, and she was just like touching my pecs or something like that, about my pecs being soft. We went to go watch a movie. We come back from watching the movie, check our phones, TikTok's blowing up. TikTok has just blown up. We've just gone from like, I think the account was just my own personal one, which had around like 7,000 followers on, because I was just doing my personal gym stuff on it before that. And then it hit up to like 100,000 followers, like within like 2 hours of like this post being out. And we were just like,
Crazy.
what the heck? So then we just was like, TikToks. And from that, we got an opportunity with Netflix. So I did some filming with Netflix. Do you know The Circle? It's on Netflix. That's
Sure.
filmed in England. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's filmed in England. So we went into that and I had an opportunity there, working with Netflix, and then also had an opportunity working with ITV, which is a channel over in the UK who was on a TV show here. So like, look at all these opportunities and stuff we're getting, but they're all given to us and nothing that we grasped ourselves from the attention,
Mm-hmm.
because there was so much more there to take.
Yeah.
So yeah, missed opportunity, but it is. I wish I could have access to that account now, because I'd just transition it into my account and like rinse the hell out of it. Even though the audience would be different, I'd have the leverage of just that follow account. I think, which sometimes makes it easier to get other followers to follow you
Yeah,
when you've got
100%. It is
that
social
amount of
proof.
followers.
It is social proof
Yeah.
for sure. I want
So
to touch back on what you said about the like understanding what your audience truly wants, because right now you're shifting from Dixon Physique is shifting from the coach to people are now seeing you as the business guy. And something that I tell all my clients when they start, especially when they already have audiences, they already have businesses, I tell them, look, you can do whatever you want. You could technically sell this or that, but the market is always right. And the market always reveals the truth. You stay in it for long enough, the market's always right. You cannot go against the market. The market's ruthless. So I really like how you're able to identify that, and I think that is one of the key skills into turning attention into income. Turning attention into income, it's being able to identify when your market is shifting, when the interests around you are shifting, and people are viewing you in a different way, because ultimately these are the people that are going to end up giving you their money, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
what go on.
oh yeah, okay. So yeah, so like, it just made me think about this morning. I don't know if you've ever done this before, Dudley, and anyone watching this, especially if you're a coach, if you're in the info space, any type of creator doing any kinds of sales calls or consultations. What I did this morning is I took all my recordings from every call that I had with every client, every sales call. I have the Fathom transcripts. I put them all in a Google Doc. I have 4,600 pages of call transcripts. I put them all into GPT, my GPT, my custom chat GPT, where I thought what my ICP was, because I created my own ICP, because as a business owner, we think we know everything, right? We think we know what the customer wants. And I realized this morning, I'm like, no, hold on. Hold on a second. I can't pretend like I know everything. Let me see what my customers are actually saying. Let me see the exact language that they're using, because that's the next step. It's once you understand what to offer, it's like what's the psychology behind these customers? How do they think? How do they spend their time? So now I have a 28-page document from I fed it with uh, like 200 plus calls, 200 plus client calls and sales calls, just to understand my unique ICP, what they go through on a day-to-day basis, what their unique problems are, what their traumas are, their fears, the exact language they use. So once you can get that, you'll become unstoppable, man. You'll definitely become unstoppable in communicating and marketing to these guys even harder. Because once you get that attention, like you have this big like pool of people, right? You have this big pool of people once you get the attention. For example, with your nail video, uh, where you called out traditional masculinity and the labels around it, now you have a big pool of people. But realistically, maybe only like 50%, if we're being super, super generous, will actually connect with you. Look at your other videos and be like, okay, Dudley's cool. Let's follow Dudley. Let's like all his content now. It's not all about fucking nails, but it's about this, and this. I like the guy because he's Dudley. But then after that, there's going to be like a 10, 20% of the smaller batch of people that are actually going to buy. But then your goal with all this fucking attention is to be able to communicate to these people from the get go. from the get-go, because communicating to these people, you're still talking to everyone else. You're still talking to everyone else. It still gets you that attention, but these people are the people at the bottom are the ones that will buy. Am I making sense or am I rambling?
Yeah, no, it's making
Okay.
sense. It adds up.
All right, all right.
Yeah, it's tough to deal with the hate of building a cult like following the way that I'm building a cult like following. I think because I get a lot of hate and I get a lot of shit, but my target is like I know just from the amount of engagement I get compared to other accounts that I've seen, just like in the DMs and conversations and stuff like that. The people are really locked in with what I'm saying, and as long as I can keep just dialing in a few more people here and there. It just grows over time, and obviously the more exposure, it brings in, like you said, it brings in those people that will eventually buy in. They might follow, and then, like you said, see these other bits of content and fuck with that, and then just keep digging in even more each time I'm posting bits of content that are along the lines of, well, everything's along the lines of just kind of that harsh, kind of alternate masculinity stuff. I guess that's a word I could call it, alternate masculinity.
Alternate masculinity.
Alternate masculinity, that kind of works. What we're gonna say, I had a point to make there. Oh yeah, because we were talking about transition. We were talking about audience. The market
Yeah.
tells you what it wants. So from a lot of conversations I have when coaches are maybe trying to transition their audience, it's like how do we go about transitioning this audience? Do we just keep posting the same way that we are? Well, obviously not. Or do we switch up the posting gradually, or do we do it kind of a set change from one day? We say, right, we start changing the way that we're posting now, or changing the things that we're talking about. How should this change be, do you think? Should it be an immediate thing, or should you roll it out over time and let the audience adjust?
What's your risk tolerance, and what is your tolerance to from the pain of having all this attention, having all this validation, to suddenly having none? I think it depends on that. Whatever your personal tolerance is, like, do you give a fuck? Like for me, I just switched my posting strategy just now, like a couple days ago, like completely switched and stopped. I went all in one go. But then there's also benefits in like doing it gradually. For example, if you're pushing some sort of code as a creator and you switch all of a sudden, you might lose that income and you might need that income. You know, you might need it. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's case by case, brother. I really think it's case by case.
yeah. Because if I needed coaching clients, in terms of physique coaching clients, I wouldn't be able to pull back as much from the coaching side of stuff
Yeah.
as I have done. Like I've basically just cut it all off now and said, this is a straight personal branding page and I'm talking about this, and this. But if I still needed that income from coaching, I would still have to post more proof. I would still have to post more talking in the gym about exercises and stuff like that. Whereas like, I'm not worrying about that. I'm just, if I want to post it, I'll post it. If I don't, I don't. But it's been an immediate change. It's one of those immediate switch ups rather than like gradual, just because I've not needed to uphold any income from that page. So yeah, if you do need to uphold income from the page, then it's probably best to do it gradually and then start building your other audience while maybe your older audience starts to fall out the way. So what's the best thing for us to lead the audience, or to let the audience lead us? Because I guess the way that I'm transitioning, yeah, I've kind of led the audience, but I've led the audience in the way of like the masculinity stuff and the posting the stuff that I'm posting, because obviously I'm posting it. But the audience has led me in terms of where my next monetization kind of strategy is going to be. So what's the best thing to do? You lead the audience, or let the audience lead you and then sell them what they want? Because you don't want to be
Brother,
getting stuck as well. You don't want to be getting stuck in something that you don't like doing or you don't enjoy doing.
that's a very good question. That's a very good question. I think the best leaders, I think that because if we see social media and personal brand as being industry leaders, niche leaders that people look up to, they respect, and they want to follow, I feel like the best leaders, and I also got this from a book. I don't know if I told you this in one of our other calls, but do you know the CEO of Toyota?
No, I don't think I do.
Okay, well, he's this Japanese guy, right? This Japanese CEO, and in his book, I forget the name because I lent it to one of my friends, but in his book, there's a thing that he does every month in all of his Toyota factories in Japan. What he calls it the Jenga Walk, and the Jenga Walk, what it's for is for the leader of Toyota, Mr. Toyota himself, to get his hands dirty, to understand what his factory workers are going through. He's working on every piece of his car in the factory. One, to understand how the car is made. Two, to increase efficiency. But if we apply this in the personal brand in the creator space, how I see it, how I directly correlate that analogy is simply with you are the leader. You set the you set the tone, you set the standards, and you set you set the tone and standards of your account and the content you put out there. But you have to be willing to get your hands dirty with your audience and understand what their reality is in order to feed them the best information and the best content possible. So then it's a feedback loop. So doing your routine Jenga walk would be something like looking at your best performing posts as a creator, looking at the insights, looking at your watch time graph religiously, being on the ball with, like, if you have, I have a Miro board with every reel I post and every follower from the reel, because 24 hours, 20 to 48 hours after, you have name, follow you from reel, name, follow you from reel. So I screenshot everything and I put them all together, and then I have all the graphs. So that is my version of the Jenga walk. I'm in the content factory. I'm in my Instagram factory, and I'm looking like, okay, this creates this output. This is the quality of this kind of post. This is the type of people I'm reaching. These are the type of comments I'm getting. These are the type of DMs I'm getting. So then I'm then able to feed. I'm then able to be to apply self leadership and use what's working, but also take the inputs from my audience to further refine what I was going to do anyway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You need that. I think a lot of coaches don't pay attention to their audience. Well, I think a lot of people online just they don't actually engage with their audience. I've said this before. They just speak at their audience, and it's such a disconnect between them and the audience. And that's why they get zero buy-in. Like, nothing's conversational. Everything is like you're posting to 1,000 people or 2,000 or however many followers that you've got. But I think the smart thing is to do, you have to speak to the audience like you're in a one-to-one conversation. That's what every single post has to feel like, a one-to-one conversation, because it's only 1 to 10,000 for you. To them, it's a one-to-one thing. They're on their phone watching your content. It's a one-to-one conversation. So if you can do that and break that barrier, then you're going to be all good, because they'll start to buy in because they feel like you're talking directly to them. And maybe that's why so many people hit back at me on the negative side, because they feel personally touched by what I'm saying, because it feels I've broken that barrier of, like, I'm talking to thousands of people on Instagram, and it feels like they're getting personally attacked by the post. So as much as that might show as a negative, it kind of shows as a positive, because my content is breaking the barrier and feeling like a one-to-one conversation where people will either feel attacked or they'll feel motivated by it, because that wall of 1,000 people is broken. So speak every conversation like you're speaking one-to-one with someone, because that conversational aspect of it is super important to getting the buy-in, rather than speaking straight at the audience. And the number one thing to do is just don't start videos with, hey guys, this is what I'm doing, or yo, what's going on, guys? Like, just cut all that out. It's so annoying. It's just for one, it's just a waste of the first 3 seconds of the video. If we're talking about virality and we're talking about hooks, you're wasting the first 3 to 5 seconds of the videos by saying, hey guys. And then number two, you telling the viewer that you're not just speaking to them, you're telling the viewer that you're speaking to everyone, and they want it to feel personal. So that's why I'll just say, listen here, bro. So if you notice, I'll start some of my reels, I'll be like, listen here, bro, because it's that one-to-one conversation. It's a one-to-one kind of singular term, rather than opening it up to everyone, because you'll get emotion from that.
No, I agree with that. People that's I couldn't have said it better. Nothing to add to that. Nothing to add to that itself. So how did you transition from going So you're telling me you lost the account with that was going completely viral. Have you gone viral with Dixon Physique or not? Yes, you have, eh? Recently,
Yeah, singular post. Yeah, I've had a bunch of
singular
posts that
post.
have gone viral. Yeah, a bunch of posts. But as an account, no. As an account, I've not kind of obviously blown up to the levels where I think it should have been. I think my content should be getting a lot more views and all that kind of stuff. But if we're talking about individual posts, like I've had multiple individual posts kind of pop off, and I do that for a reason. Like I don't put viral seeking posts out all the time, but I will drop one in every now and again,
Mhm.
just to keep the account booming, just to keep signaling to Instagram that people are watching my stuff, and I know how to get people watching my stuff. But the base core of my content, if we say I post 3 times a day, so that's 3, 6, 9, so it's what 21 posts in a week. Maybe once every 2 weeks, so one in every 42 posts might be a bit better for virality. But apart from that, all of them are really tailored to just attention to the audience that I want to buy.
Interesting. And
Mm.
what's the vision with Dixon Physique? And because you're saying you wanna kind of switch markets right now. So do you wanna merge identity method and physique pages, or kind of like keep them
No,
separate?
no, no. I love using it as a testing ground, to be fair, because I can use it as a testing ground where I can test multiple different styles of content. Because if you notice, there's no set content flow. Whereas, like, I have this pillar, this pillar, this pillar, or I use this style, this style, this style of video. I'm just creating for fun, and I'm saying, right, this type of post work, this type of post work. So then I can kind of go back to the clients that I work with on a one-to-one level or that are in the lab as a community, and I can say, right, I've noticed this post works, this post works, this type of post works, this type of post works. Because if I just continuously post the same stuff on that account, then
I
it doesn't give me no real life data to go, oh yeah, you can try this, because it's the same thing's not going to work for everyone. Something like vlog 0.5s might work for some people. B-roll stuff might work for other people. Talking head to camera will that's dead. That'll probably work for no one anymore. Not if you don't have some sort of
Yeah.
pattern disruptor or anything like that. Um, what else? Carousels, lifestyle carousels. There's so many different ways that you can put content out and have fun with it. So if I test all these different ways, I can say, right, this seems to be working well. This seems to be working well, and then it gives me a variety of data to work across. So I do like using it as some sort of testing account. But yeah, the main focus is just to, I think, just keep speaking to the audience in from different angles with different
Hmm.
styles of content.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Because I think if I just keep hitting on emotions,
Hmm.
it doesn't really matter too much in the style of content that I'm putting out. But we'll see where it goes. I just need that monetization, that new monetization strategy of it to capitalize on kind of the switch from direct fitness to probably more business, as I'm seeing from the audience there. But virality can be bad as well. I've seen it be bad for some people. You know, like if they've actually gained a lot of followers from the viral posts
Yeah.
that are just like, because they might do a post that's just way off topic,
Yeah.
and then they're pulling so many followers that just aren't even interested in the main stuff. So I've seen it where they might have posted something with the kids, and it's just them playing with the kids or a little funny something like that. Where they're a hardcore fitness coach, hardcore bodybuilder, and then they're getting buy-in from like mums and stuff like that and parents. So if you get an increase of 200, 300 followers that are all just like mums, it's pointless.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So you need to be careful with technically, I guess, going viral because they're never going to engage with any other piece of content that you ever post. That's going to
Yeah.
be the only piece of content that they engage with.
I
So I think
gained.
with the ones that I've been viral on, I do think I still pull in the right type of followers.
Yeah, 100%. And I noticed that in this past month, I've gained around 1,000. I've lost around 300 followers. So
Mm.
it comes out to like 700. But all those 700 fucking people, they're not qualified. Not qualified.
They're not.
Not qualified. Because I was posting more general fitness, satire content, and I noticed
Yeah.
that I was like, okay, I'm getting a lot of followers. Okay, this is great. But I look at it like nobody's a fucking lead here. So I can't apply any conversion mechanisms to them, which comes to the
Yeah.
next thing about turning virality into turning attention into income, because gaining the attention, that is the acquisition, you're acquiring the attention, but then the conversion mechanism of actually bringing that attention into turning that attention into income. I'm curious to know, Dudley, like what have you used when I say conversion mechanism for your specific offers? What comes to mind?
You mean like lead magnets and stuff like that?
Lead magnets could be quantified as a conversion mechanism, yeah.
So if it's that's my main focus. Two lead magnets. One that just kind of is a quick win, and then the second one that is a deeper insight into you and kind of your coaching, and feels like a one-to-one session. And then from there going into a call. So that's kind of the conversion flow that I get a lot of coaches pushing into, because I just feel like it ticks all of the boxes. Obviously, we start from the content, so your content, which gains the attention, and then from that attention, you're then you're giving them a quick win, and then from that quick win, you're then giving them a deeper dive and a more length. I usually say like a YouTube video or something, like a 15-minute YouTube video that feels like a coaching call where you're covering a topic, and then from there actually getting them on a coaching call. So it's kind of that, for me, that three-step process to just make sure all the boxes are ticked. People who make it through the flow are more likely to convert than what I hate is people who just have it in the bio, book a call or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And there's no kind of
Yeah,
lead up to it. There's no mechanism. There's no flow. There's no anything. It's just like, oh, DM for
yeah, yeah,
coaching
yeah.
or anything like that. You've not got a business there. You've not got a business. You're just telling people you're a coach.
Yeah, you
Because
got
there's
nine
no
pictures. You got
consistent
nine
way
pictures
of.
in the same bathroom. You got nine pictures in the same fucking bathroom, and it's DM for coaching with an emoji. Book a call with a fucking type form.
And then
Yeah,
wondering why no one's going on
yeah,
your coaching
yeah, yeah,
because you're
yeah,
trying to jump to third base too quick.
yeah. No, but I love that, brother. It's the I preach that a lot to my clients. It's opening and leading with value. Opening and leading with value, 100%. You have to identify the specific problem, because that's how I structure my YouTube too. It's from the specific problems I'm getting in my DMs, all that data as well. So now just have like a massive library of lead magnets that I send to the people in my DMs, depending on what they're currently the problem that they're currently facing. You know what I mean? But I don't have like a specific lead magnet. So I think we use a similar strategy. I just have like just a bunch of YouTube videos that I pick and choose. Okay, you need that, you need that, you need that, you need that.
So what? So you don't start with anything smaller. You go from like content to YouTube video.
Yeah, because I want to
Is that?
solve my ICP. My ICP is already making money. My ICP is already making money. He just needs to understand that how to make that income more repeatable and scalable and predictable. Scalably predictable or predictably scalable. Whatever.
Yeah,
Whichever
yeah,
makes
yeah.
more sense. But yeah,
Yeah,
more
I think
predictable and
that
scalable.
I think definitely straight to YouTube works better. I think that could straight to the, if we call it straight to the deep dive. So I'd call that lead magnet
Yeah.
2. So straight to lead magnet 2
Hmm.
it would work with B2B or people that are already really bought in.
Yeah.
But what I see with a lot of fitness coaches is a lot of them are struggling to just even get a comment on the post or a message in the DMs and stuff like that. And that's
Yeah.
where I think like the quick 5-minute win lead magnet comes into play really, really well, because it's just that small little bit of trust where you're just teasing them, but it's not too much, because people are scared to jump on calls because they don't want to be sold to. And obviously some people might not even want to go through a 10-15 minute YouTube video right at the start. So that's why I implement that little lead magnet one there in front, especially I
Yeah.
think B2C,
Yeah.
because people are just so cautious
Yeah.
around like kind of the market that I'm seeing anyway over here.
Yeah, I mean it's becoming prevalent. Like people know, like, okay, this guy hit my DMs, he's gonna sell me something. It's not
Yeah,
even like it's not a secret anymore, bro. I mean, life's
we're
a
all
zero
out for it.
sum game, you know. Like
And
the life's a zero sum.
this is something
Huh?
that we need to kind of talk about coming into 2026, though, like the archaic ways of business mentors, and I'm going to be tagging a lot of my content down this line because I think a lot of the business mentors that are out there, they're just so archaic with the systems that they've got and the methods that they've got, and they're not really looking at this kind of new social media, as I'm calling it, and the way that it's going into 2026. They created their systems back in 2021 and they've not altered them since, but the market's changed when it comes to being online and what we have to put out, and the trust levels that we have to now cater to as coaches. So yeah, we just need to be careful about these archaic business mentors and listening to what they're telling you to do. Because I've had the case a lot of time where people have worked with coaches before me, mentors before me, or even are working at the same time. Because obviously I just focus mainly on content. So I have had a few people that have had a business mentor and then also just come to me for like the content and stuff like that. And then they've come to me and realized, oh shit, I'm going to hire this other business mentor because all I need is this. Because the way that they're telling me to do things is so set and structured that it's actually bad. But you're coming into something that's more future focused like mine, where we're always thinking ahead and we're looking at the market ahead, and it makes it a lot more creative. It makes it a lot more easy to follow, and a lot more you, because that's what we're trying to put out, like creating personal brands in 2026. So what's do you know any archaic business mentors methods that you've seen around?
Archaic. Could you define that word so I don't have.
So it's just like stuff that doesn't work anymore. So like talking
Okay.
head, just like straight talking head videos trying to talk about a topic and stuff. They're putting together content plans for these coaches that might be just content that just doesn't work on Instagram anymore. And the sales methods like cold DMing obviously works to some extent, but it's not as easy as it once was, like you said, because everyone's used to it. That's kind of what got me onto that thought, because you can go into someone's DM and everyone knows you're selling now, whereas like back in the days where these business mentors maybe created their systems, it worked, but it just doesn't work the same anymore. So is there anything that you've identified that used to work that just doesn't work anymore?
Do you mean advice from business mentors that I've identified that doesn't work, or methods that
Yeah,
I see that are being pushed out by
just
business mentors?
anything, just any methods that other people might be told to do and stuff, but coming into 2026, they're not going to work.
Cold DMing for sure. Cold DMing for sure, man. That's one of them for sure. Talking head videos, definitely a lot less, but then it all depends because there are archaic methods, but I think it goes both ways, man. It always depends on quality of execution. That's how I see it. Because if we look at Hormozy, he still does talking head, but he's also kind of shifted towards like in the moment content. He's showing himself in
Yeah,
meetings.
he's doing a lot of live stuff. So when I'm saying
Yeah.
talking head, I'm meaning just sat at a table talking like straight at the camera. And yes, he does that, but I think he pattern disrupts really, really well. And I also think he's doing a lot of the stuff that's just live and captured, which isn't just straight talking at the audience, talking head.
No, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. So archaic methods that I'm noticing. I really do think, and we might be disagreeing on this, but I really do think that there's no such thing as an archaic method, bro. It all depends on the person executing. It all depends on who's doing the thing and how is he doing the thing, or how are they doing the thing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I guess it's just because I've seen so many people try certain stuff that has been in packages ages ago. Like we could say ebooks. They're not going to work. Like from what I would say ebooks are not going to work because no one's going to sit there and read 15-page ebook because they don't have fucking time to do it. They don't have the trust level to do it. So like I feel like there are little things that just in this market they don't work, because I think every single market advances over time, and people spot things as well, like you said with the cold DMs, where they just don't want to. You'll already lose them before you get them
Yeah.
because of just how shit's changed.
Yeah.
So you think you could get a buy-in from an ebook?
A buy-in from an ebook.
Yeah.
That was my strategy, bro. That's how I broke. That's how I broke 30K a month with my online coaching. My
But
opening
in
line
coming into
told
coming
me
into
in the
2026.
no, beginning of the year, okay, beginning of this year. My opening line in the DMs is, "Hey, what's up, man? Appreciate the follow. I just broke down my method for losing fat or building muscle at any level. Do you want me to send you this resource for free?" Okay,
Mm,
cool. Awesome. Awesome. You want it? All right. So before I send you the thing, let me ask you a couple questions before I could, so I can understand your situation better. And then I never even send them the ebook and I'd close them.
yeah. So I guess it's all on delivery of the method. It's all on
Uh-huh.
delivery of the method because you got a lot of closes there from conversation over like the actual ebook. But I think
Yeah.
what I see a lot is people might have a straight ebook as like a lead magnet and just they wouldn't ask no opening kind of qualifying questions like you've asked there. It's just a case of here's the ebook and then that's it. That's the only
Let
kind of
me know.
conversation I had.
Let me know what you
I've
think.
I've
Yeah.
yeah, I've made a document on how to solve this problem, this problem, this problem, and then people might download it and they'll never actually go through it
Yeah.
because there's no follow up, there's no conversation there, there's nothing built around it. So I guess could we say there's no archaic methods? It just depends on the kind of mechanism I guess you put around it. If you
100%.
have the conversation, if you have the follow ups, if you have a whole system around an ebook, then yeah, it could work. But as an ebook alone, just throwing it to someone, it's not it's not going to
Yeah.
work. It needs to be more than that.
It's context. It's always context. It's always context around it, right? It's like last episode we were talking about storytelling. If you're a bodybuilder and you're just posting your physique pictures, nothing's gonna happen. But I have one of my clients, Luca, who's fucking 19 years old, making $30,000 a month, and all he posts is physique pictures. He's never talked at once. He's never talked once, but he's 19 years old, and like you go look at his page, bro. He's 19 years old, and
Yeah,
you're flabbergasted at the physique this kid has. He looks pro level already, you
crazy.
know. So it just
So what's
works
he
for
sold
him.
from? What's his flow? What's his flow then? Just his physique.
Bro, it's just
Is
his
that what
physique.
pulls people in?
He's posting his physique pictures, you know, he's just posting him living life and he's posting physique pictures, posing videos, and we have a DM setter on his account. That's it.
Yeah.
And he's
It's
cracking
easy
30K
when you're
a month.
genetically blessed. It's easy when you're
Exactly.
genetically blessed, isn't
Exactly. So
it?
it's all about context, bro. He is genetically blessed, bro. He is. He's a hard worker too, but of course genetics play a huge role in his results that he has right now. But it's like I
Yeah.
said, it's physique picks plus DM setter, that's his recipe for 30K. So it's
I think kind of this whole conversation has just been really good in showing the audience that you have to have something that is made for you. And you have to be having a conversation with the mentor you're working with like this because a
yeah.
lot of people will buy into stuff. They'll pay a lot of money to buy into stuff, and it's just a kind of that copy and paste plan. Like I said, that they've used to maybe scale another coach, this coach, this coach, this coach, but that might not actually work for you. And if you're not having calls on a frequent basis directly with your mentor, like kind of having the conversations that we're having here, then you're never going to figure out those methods that are actually going to work for you because it can be done in so many different ways.
Yeah.
So it can't just be this has worked to scale this, we've put it in a package, now you use it. It needs to be a lot more delved into on a one-to-one basis, and that's super important.
100%. 100%.
So is there anything else that you want to close with? Anything else that you want to
No, I think
say about attention and
so just
attention
yeah,
and
just an
conversion?
outro. Just an outro would be something, it would be that, like, yeah, turning attention into conversion. You need to be able to, well, if you've mastered acquisition at this point, it's because you know how to garner attention, but mastering conversion mechanisms will lead to more income from your pocket from that attention. Don't make the mistake like Dudley and I of just going viral without any of the skill set behind it. If I could encourage you guys to look at to educate yourselves on conversion mechanisms and market psychology, and to look at what your audience is if you have the skill of going viral, what your audience currently wants from you, why they're following you. I remember before I started coaching again in 2025, what I did is I just put I did a story sequence, and I put a link at the end of the story sequence saying that I have a project starting soon, and I would like to have the opinion of men between 18 and 30 on if they were ever to get a coach or a mentor, what would they, how would they, what would they like, what would they expect? And I said, I'm not selling you anything on this call. I'm purely collecting market data, market research. And I got 50 people to sign up for that call, and I got 50 calls from it. And in those calls, that's all I did. I just collected market data. I said, okay, in an ideal world, if you hired a coach, what would you expect from the coach? Okay, have you ever worked with a coach before? And then I had my Fathom in it, and I was obviously it takes notes automatically. So you leverage AI, and you can be even lazier with it. You leverage AI, and the notes are automatic, and then you have all this market data right in front of you.
Yeah.
And plus, it
So
gives your audience an opportunity to talk directly to you, like
yeah.
because they want to. So you're giving them a free call, a free consultation, whatever, and you get market data in exchange.
Yeah, that direct conversation is so important. So keep having conversations with your audience. If you want to make money out of attention, you need to actually actively get in the mix, get your hands dirty with the attention, and figure out what they want, figure out how they communicate, figure out how you can sell through psychology. So don't just keep speaking at your audience, speak with your audience, because you'll miss opportunities if you don't. All good. All right.
100%.
We're out. Catch you
Yes,
next
sir.
week.
Peace, guys.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.